Hello everybody, sorry I haven't been streaming much recently. Hopefully you can hear me over the sound of the wind. We'll see if that makes any difference. Been a bit ill recently, so I've been concentrating on the boating rather than the filming. But just thought it'd be worthy to film us coming through the around the walls of Chester and down to the Northgate Locks. Windy all day today. All the daffodils are out for spring. I couldn't tell you much history about Chester. I don't have anything interesting to tell you overly. But as you can see, when they dug the canal, which was obviously many years after the walls were put up, the walls were on a rocky outcrop. And when they dug the canals, they had to cut through this rock, which can't have been any mean feat. Well, a lot of people call this the Shropshire Union Canal. In actual effect, it's the Nantwich Barge Canal from Ellesmere Port to Nantwich. It's a wide canal, although there's a narrow, I think it's 9-foot wide bridge, modern bridge at Ellesmere Port end that limits any wide craft. Although we have seen a wide beam on here, which was presumably craned in. There used to be access to the River Dee, and that's the wide locks down to the River Dee. In fact, I think that's where the yes, thinking about it, the Nantwich Barge Canal actually went from the River Dee here at Chester and came straight up. And then when the Shropshire Union Canal was built, they extended it to Ellesmere Port. I think that's right in saying that. This is one of the entrances to the Chester City. A very fine bridge that the canal had to put in. You can still see some of the marks in the rock where they put explosives, and looks like a lot of chipping marks there as well, so presumably they faced it by hand. Stratum of the rock's quite interesting. Presumably laid down millions of years ago. But trees and vegetation seem to hold on. Hey Nick, you right? Just live on YouTube. Thought might as well while I'm coming through. I'll see you later. Flowers aren't looking quite so clever now, but you can see the staircase locks ahead of us. There's usually volunteers on this, and I think that's one coming up. Hopefully getting it ready for me. One coming up. Yeah, thanks. Uh-huh. Very annoying. Yeah, yeah, it ruins the whole thing. Although I can go down and pass him, can't I, in the flight?
Just balancing the two, the top and the middle lock.
Ah, okay, no.
Then I'm going to have to empty the middle lock, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, up. I'll tie up here then. No, I didn't see anybody now. I think there's a couple more. Sorry, just had to put you down there. We'll come and have a closer look at the locks while we're waiting for this boat to come up. It might be a bit windy, so you might not be able to hear me. But there are 3 locks here. And each gate is the other lock's gate, if that makes any sense. So the staircase, they're all in line. So this is the top lock here. The middle lock here. The top gates there are the same gates for the top lock, and the bottom gates are the same gates for the bottom lock. Same as the top gate for the bottom lock. Use ground paddles here to move the water around. It's a slow process, but it gets there eventually. At least when you're emptying one lock, you fill in the other lock. You get some idea of just how deep and big these gates are. Oh, there's another boat coming in at the bottom as well. Now the problem with staircases is they work great if everybody's going in the same direction. But if there's somebody coming in the opposite direction, you have to turn all the locks around. So the right ones are full and the other ones are empty. One's just turned up at the bottom.
I'm going to bring that one in.
Yeah.
And and use this water to bring them up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then swap you up there.
And swap us up there. Yeah, no worries.
Wash it through.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. That. There's very careful water management needed with staircase locks. Obviously, the only water you have to fill the bottom lock and the middle locks are the water that's already in the locks. Ideally, you want the end paddles closed off, because if you lose water, what ends up happening is that this level is too low for the boat to get across the sill, and there's been some incidences where boats have grounded on the middle sill of a staircase and there's been a bad leak, or there's a paddle up at the bottom and they've ended up stranded on the sill. Don't think anybody's lost their life yet. They're fairly rare occurrences on the UK waters, but it's always something to watch out for. I'll pop down to the bottom and you can see the view all the way up. You can see it's quite imposing from the bottom here. You can see the whole set of locks. Got the Chester City walls there. One of the turrets. And of course you've got three modes of transport here. You've got the canal, the railway up there, and I think that's the 1970s road bridge up the top. So not just three different modes of transport, but three separate centuries, I would imagine. One of the other problems you can have when you get the staircase locks wrong is flooding. Excuse me. If too much water gets in at the top. Of course the locks are only so big, and usually on more modern locks there's a bywash that allows excess water. Here the excess water only has the gaps in the gates to go down, and eventually they can't cope with the influx of water, especially if somebody's left a paddle up at the top, and it's been known to have torrents of water run down the footpath. Back up to the top again. Slowly filling up. Victoria waits dutifully. Oh, the wind seems to be blowing her around a bit. As you can see, I normally have it much more heavily loaded. Well, we're going to be a while before we go in, so I'm going to end the live stream here. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like and subscribe for some more videos. And I'll see you in another.